ahead and share with you guys a little bit about just, it's a big advertisement for Pole Strong. No, I'm just kidding, but not really. So I'll kind of share with you my journey and, you know, what's kind of led me into realizing how much work needs to be done to maintain. So I started pole dancing at the age of, the very ripe age of 21. And I basically was kind of given a couple gifts in my life. Just sort of natural gifts. I was always a performer. I was a street performer, and I would just do like anything I could to get money on the street, and you know, poetry and cartwheels and whatever, you know. And I was always able to like do like this leg could just go that way like real easy, and you know, I could just bend and move pretty happily in a couple joints of my body. And so I just always kind of abused that and took it for granted, and you know, nobody knew about warm-ups back then, you know, nobody told us about that or about, you know, our other side. So I just kind of, you know, started pole dancing like kind of, you know, I'd say it was, what year was that, maybe 2007? And I just started working like at a bikini bar, and I would just drink a bit and just do the do, you know, whatever that was. And I did that for a long time, and then I slowly started getting better, and then I did competitions, and I started teaching, and I started, you know, doing this as a part-time but professional level, and really had no idea what the fuck I was getting into. I had no idea that it was going to be my full-time job, or that I would, you know, do it for a decade plus. I thought it was just a cool way to make 50 bucks. So like, I did this for a long time, and I started to really progress and started to see myself getting stronger and better. And also as I was sort of aging, I became a little bit smarter on how to start to basically use the best points of my body to show off my best abilities. And as that happened, I didn't really ever think or realize, I mean, we're talking about somebody in their 20s. I was like barely sore. Like, I don't even remember like really being sore. I just remember drinking and eating McDonald's and like then killing it and being like, whatever, I'll do the same thing tomorrow. And yeah, that's like pretty casual. And so, you know, I didn't really know, and also we didn't have the same sort of things that we have today. We have a lot of education today, and a lot of people like Sally, and you know, people that actually know and studied body and, you know, medicine and care and all of the things that we need. And so, you know, what ended up happening was, you know, I did well. I won some competitions. People were like, "You're so dope. Will you come teach over here? Will you come do this thing?" So here I am, traveling the world, pole dancing, jet lag, tired, belly hurt, don't matter, just go. And, you know, I never really ever thought about the toll that it was taking, because I was so grateful for the opportunities. How dare I say, like, oh, I'm a little, not today. No, bitch, you get up. Don't matter if your back hurt, you just got flown into Switzerland and you're on in two, you know. Aww. So it's just like that. Just go. And now this was my full-time job. I had left an engineering career. I had left any sort of safety net that I'd ever had. I don't come from a rich family. I do not have a rich man. This is it. If I want to eat, I gotta go to work. I wouldn't get no PTO. There's no, you know, there's none of that type of stuff. So there I was, just doing the do, and finally I started having the ability to slow down. And I had a little bit of money saved, and I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take 6 weeks off, and I'm gonna go to the spa, and I'm gonna get a massage, and I'm gonna give these little bones a little rest. And that was really fucking nice. And I hadn't felt what that had been like, because I was just constantly working. And when you're working in this kind of an industry, you don't know necessarily when your next paycheck's coming. You don't get paid every 2 weeks and know exactly what that amount is. So when somebody offers you a gig, you say, yes ma'am, I'll be there on time. and no problem, you know? And I take them all because this is it. And I knew that there was kind of a shelf life, but I wasn't sure how long exactly because, you know, I kind of feel like people in sort of my generation of pole dancing were kind of like the guinea pigs of like, well, let's see what happens to them. They're going to be crippled at 35 or whatever, you know, like we just don't know. And so, you know, as that kind of happened and I took those 6 weeks off and I tasted what rest and rejuvenation was like, and my skin was better, my body was happy, I was smiling, I was being able to, you know, have coffee with my mom and, you know, see my friends that, like, sorry, I haven't seen you in 5 years, you have kids, that's great. So much happened while I was just everywhere, you know? So I got to live taste those 6 weeks of a slow life, and I was like, I gotta do this again. All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hit it super, super hard, and then I'm gonna take 3 months off. And so I started trying to find that sort of schedule where I could take some time to rest. So now, fast forward, you know, last year, I opened a space of my own in LA. Yeah, it's fucking sick. You should come see it. Nothing like our space though, Sally. You can go there. Yeah, the ad bathroom's good. So as I was preparing for opening this space, obviously, like, there's a build out. You know, it's almost 2,000 square feet. It was like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, but I was like, this sounds great. Let's build a place. And so I took 6 months off. And, you know, I'd saved for years to be able to get this place and take these 6 months so that I could carry boxes and paint walls or whatever, you know? And I luckily, Jordan, who's an amazing pole dancer, is also in LA. She studied myofascial work. And so I was like, yo, Jordan, like, could you just, like, give me some sort of package? I'm home for 6 months and I'm not prepping for shit. I just want to, you know, hook me up or whatever. And I didn't realize how, like, fucked up I was until I got a bunch of sessions and I was like, oh, this is what a healthy body feels. This is insane. I have a neck, I have shoulders, I have my joints were just like, I became this like octopus. It almost made me feel like I could chew better and I could hear better and I could sleep better. It was the weirdest thing, and I didn't realize like how many blocks I've ever seen like a real like trained pole dancer like getting ready for a competition, like walk in the room, they're just like, hey, you know what I mean? Just like, oh, you know, just like rage, and you know, I like let all of the rage go, and I felt like a new person and a new body, and I was so happy and thankful and felt like I had come into almost a new phase of movement, and I wanted it, like, inspired me in so many different ways to move better and be better and also treat myself better. You know, because now I'm like, I don't know, maybe 12 years in the game of going pretty damn hard and consistent. So I was like, wow, my back bends feel amazing, you know? And like, I remember for years I was like, oh, I don't really fuck with Cobra, like, I'll bend when I have to or whatevs, because it just didn't feel that great. You know what I'm talking about, you know, I'm like, no, Cobra, that's good, yeah. And like, you know, then my Cobra started feeling good, and I was able to like go into a bridge kind of cold. And people sometimes they have a weird thought of like, oh, you're just so bendy, and I'm like, no, I'll just yank it when it's time, but it's not, that's not natural or whatever at all, like to just, after so much abuse, you know, you just keep going like this to yourself, you're gonna start grinding. So I realized what a happy body felt like, and I was like, oh, this is so fucking great, I can't wait to just keep this. And at the time I wasn't pole dancing a lot because my poles hadn't gone up. I was real picky on the poles that I wanted, and Expo was like, well, we don't really have those in stock. And I was like, well, I'll wait for you to go ahead and make them exactly that way, and whenever they're ready, you can send them over. And so during those 6 months, I had no pole dancing, all this body work, and I was a fucking like fettuccine Alfredo and just loving life. And then I had to pole dance again. And it was not the teaching. The teaching is one thing. You know, I feel like I only teach things that I'm extremely comfortable with, and I don't really ever feel the need to super show off, or, you know, that my adrenaline's not fucking raging, and then, you know, there's no like drunk people screaming or whatever. It's just, it's pretty cash. So, you know, so like I never really get like injured like teaching, maybe a little sore, but I started prepping for Wildside to be here with you guys. And this kind of circles back to the Instagram thing, and I had been kind of thinking about it recently, where I was like, why the fuck did I do this? Why did I agree to this? Like, I have nothing to prove. You came out here and you could have done all this without putting your body and, like, you know, through this physical stress. And why did I do that? You know, for the sense of validation for what? I don't understand. And I started realizing that yes, we all seek some sort of validation, which is why Instagram is so like toxic, because it's the easiest way to be like, here, look at me, you know? It's like, if I was in a room with that many people, like my followers or whatever, I would never act the way I post. It just would seem real weird. Like, hey, look at me, splits. The fuck? It blows my mind, and it's like this self-hate, but also like I want you to comment and like, and then I realized I was like, what are you searching for? And I realized this trip, this Wildside, this performance, when I posted my video and when I was looking through the comments and I was smiling from every curse word that I saw. When people say, fuck, god damn, it's crazy. I was like, dude, this is why I try to push my body into these shapes. Like, I'm not craving the words like you're beautiful or you're graceful or you're soft. I am literally hoping that you're like breaking the rules of Instagram and putting like profanity. And so then I realized this is also driving my style and why I'm like, Sally, please don't pay me. Can you just, like, I feel like performing is the #1 culprit of creating imbalances, and I don't think imbalances necessarily means injury, but it says like, oh, when you were just trying to grab your purse in the car and you're like, oh, what happened? Why did that happen? It was like, well, the 6 months of practicing that Phoenix on that one side, that shit just paid off on grabbing your purse. So like all these things start to add up, and then I realized like, why are we still doing this, and what can we do to prevent it? So why are we doing it? I feel like there's a time frame. I'm officially retired. You will never see me like wow out at Wildside again. And like because I hold myself to a certain standard, and I want to continue to have people cuss at my performances, and I will refuse to accept any less. But also, I'm happy to not put myself through that anymore, and I feel like I've done that enough. And until you've done that enough, then you know you're not going to feel satisfied. And I thought like I still had that drive until I like really took a step back and I'm witnessing like people sort of up and coming. And I said, oh no, they want this. They want this a lot more than I do. I remember when I wanted it that bad, and I don't anymore. And it was really like, it was really rejuvenating. And it's like, okay, but let's say I did want to do it. Let's say I did want to wild out. How can I do this in a way that makes sense? And it's like, I swear to you, the amount of effort and work and money is extreme. So like, okay, I want to, first of all, get warm enough to where this type of body movement would be healthy or acceptable. How do you even prepare for that? You know, this is not a Pilates warm-up that's going to get you there. Like, if you're going to come in and be like, cat, 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 there's no warm-up of, you know, that really is healthy. Like, you're going to have neck issues forever if you headbang. Like, that's just the nature of it. And so the only thing you could do is try to do like therapeutic movements that try to undo the damages. But when the damage is this, grinding for decades, well, you know, glucosamine only goes so far. And then, you know, you have to pay people like Sally per hour forever, pretty much. Yeah, like I had to do almost 10 sessions. It probably cost me about $1,200. $1,200. It's a lot of money, you know? And then just so I could like be like, yo, I'll feature at the Wildside, look, fuck that $1,200. And now I gotta go home and kind of start all over. Like, it's not that easy. And then you have to actually rest. This was the number one thing that used to piss me off forever. Say, I think something a little bit, and something got fucked up. It's like, well, your rib's out. It's like, okay, well, can you just, I got something to do. Can you just put it back? It's like, it's not gonna stay. You need to rest. But y'all got no money to rest. It's expensive to rest. So then there's all these sort of things that have to happen. So the biggest thing I would say that could help is preventative measures and creating a warm-up that actually makes sense for what you're doing. There's so many people that like try to shove all this information, like make sure you engage before you stretch and you blah, blah. What is your performance? Make a warm-up that makes sense for that. And if you're continuing to pull on one leg, my entire career, try to yank on the other one sometimes, like there's so much stuff that happens, and like I kind of laugh because I made an entire brand called Twisted. What ends up happening is like literally my body's like this a little bit. And this is also like Allegra, inside leg hang, ballerina, where you just go, oh, let me just wrap, it's just, good, and so it's like all of these things that start to, add up and slowly destroy yourself and I always tell people on the outside I'm 33 and on the inside I'm 63. Like I have so many miles on this body. And so, it's just hopefully if you spend it well, then, you accept your good years and then we'll be rolling on the floor for the next, few decades after that. I'm not really sure that there's like a big point to this story or, that there's like a big ending other than just like make an appointment with Sally. She will help you. I mean, she's helped me. Almost every time I come here, I'm like, Sally, I don't know what's going on, but, okay, like there's just being aware of it and not waiting for it to turn into an injury. Because once it's an injury, you're out. So like pole dancing for you, that was your freedom, was that sanity. It was possibly like maybe helping you in the right direction. And if you didn't have that because you couldn't lift your arm over your head, that would take so much from you. So it's best to at least just kind of keep something going and also having somebody else poke at it because it's such a progressive thing that happens that you don't know. You don't notice that all of a sudden you're like, oh, you mean this isn't how you stand? That's not normal. So it's like it becomes so progressive that you almost need somebody else to be like, hey girl, did you know these 4 ribs are out of place and have been? And you're like, oh, I just thought that was how my body goes or whatever. So like really having somebody else pay attention to what's really going on with the body is the only way to kind of get the longevity. If you look at